On the penultimate day of the Splits in 90 Days Challenge, I take cognizance of Lao Tzu's timeless words. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. Injuries, sore hamstrings, and mental fatigue notwithstanding, we are ready. Let's do this.
Namaste, yogis.
It's Goga, kinda like yoga. 2 years in the game, 78 postures later, it is clear hip openers are the big boys or girls in yoga. From sitting ones, lunges, squats, goddesses, hamstring stretchers, including the inversions. With this foundation, I'm convinced that we are ready to take a 90-day journey towards the mother of them all. They call it Hanumasana, monkey, or as most of you know it, the splits. Enjoy the ride. So still staying on Tadasana, even standing, Samastitihi, palms facing forward. Take a few more breaths here. Exhale. One more breath. And let's begin our sun salutations. Inhale, sweep your hands up, find a back bend, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, spill forward to your legs, bowing forward. Inhale, take a halfway lift, flat back, pressing your hands on your shins, quads, or even the floor. And then so that you can take your hands down to the mat, step back and come into plank. Bend your elbows into chaturanga, lower halfway down, elbows bent, feeling that nice shaking. Upward facing dog, lift the chest up. Feeling that stretch on the belly, keep pressing the hands on the ground and then send the hips up into downward facing dog. Stay here for a moment, taking a few breaths in. So we're going to do a few Ashtanga postures here, just to be able to prepare the body for like a few stretches. And then on day number 90, we will now see what the full split looks like. Take one final breath here on your downward facing dog. Exhale. Look towards your hands, bend your knees, walk, step or hop to the top of the mat, coming into halfway lift, flat back once again. Exhale, fold forward, grabbing behind your shins or calves. Then sweep your hands up into Urdhva Hastasana, extended mountain pose, gaze towards your thumbs, softening your shoulders down your back. And then bring your hands by the sides of your body, Samastitihi. Let's do that once again. Breathe in. Take your hands up overhead, gaze towards your thumbs. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift, look forward, hands on your shins. Try to get a flat back here. Hands down, plant your palms and walk into bent elbows, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lift your chest into upward facing dog, letting the hips sink low, stretching the belly here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, sending the hips high towards the ceiling or the sky above you in my case. 5 deep breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. Trying to keep the breaths intentional. One of the lessons I've learned in this 90-day challenge is just patience and also just trying to get the alignment of some of these postures. Something I ordinarily wasn't very keen on, 89 days ago. Bend your knees, hop to the top of the mat, coming into halfway lift, flat back once again. Exhale, dive forward. Sweep your hands up once again, reaching up towards the sky, gazing towards your thumbs. And then come into even standing, palms by the sides of your body, Samastitihi. Let's go to sun salutation B. Bend your knees, come into chair pose, sinking the hips back. Draw your belly in towards your spine just to straighten the spine. Then you want to tuck your tailbone in and then bow forward. Halfway lift, flat back, gazing forward, hands down, find Chaturanga. Elbows bent, feeling that nice stretch, up dog, and then take downward facing dog. Exhale. Good. Now from here, set up for warrior 1, right leg between your hands, back foot flat on the ground. Sweep your hands up alongside your ears, gazing towards your thumbs, feeling that nice stretch. Hands down on the ground, take a vinyasa or chaturanga, elbows bent. Upward facing dog, lift your chest up, and downward facing dog. Exhale, exhale, hips high. Now let's see the left side. Warrior number 1, Virabhadrasana. Taking those hands alongside your ears, bring your palms to touch, gaze towards your thumbs as you sink your hips lower. Take chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Exhale, exhale, exhale. So relax here for like a few breaths once you're on downward facing dog, and so that you can draw your heels towards the floor, and then you want to melt the chest more towards the thighs, just be able to feel that deep stretch. Down dog is also a very great hamstring stretcher, as much as you're also trying to strengthen your arms here. Of course, chaturanga takes the cake when it comes to these particular stretches. Then keep so that you can keep melting the chest even lower. You can even gaze towards your belly area. Otherwise, anchor your gaze at the space between your feet. Bend your knees, hop to the top of the mat, come into halfway lift, breathe in, and exhale so that you can bow forward. Utkatasana, let's take chair pose once again, feeling that nice band on the thighs, legs, sinking your hips lower, pulling your belly in, gaze up towards your hands, and then bring your hands by the sides of your body, Samastitihi. Now, so that you can take your left leg back, trying to take your feet about 3 feet distance apart, interlace your fingers behind your hands, and so that you can bow forward. Wide-legged forward fold, Pasarita, Padottanasana, trying to melt your torso towards the sky. Then slowly rise up, turn your right leg forward, take your hands up, coming into warrior number 1. Back foot is flat, gazing towards your thumbs. Keep sinking your hips a little bit lower. Inhaling and exhaling, feeling that nice band on the thighs here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn your right foot in, take the left leg out, come into warrior 1, hands into high prayer, gazing towards your thumbs. These are very good stretches just to be able to warm up the legs. You can even try lift the heel off the ground just to get that nice 90-degree angle, and then keep gazing towards your thumbs as you sink a little bit lower. Using your breath, Deep Ujjayi breath, as your most powerful tool. Come back to center. Open your hands out like a T. Hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale so that you can fold forward. Bring in your hands on your big toes with your 2-piece fingers. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep a long spine. Exhale, bow forward so that you can bend the elbows, and just so that you can bring your torso even lower. You can even widen the feet a little bit more. I'm going to press my palms down on the ground here. Try to keep the feet parallel. Then I bring the crown of my head down on the ground. And then try to create a shelf with your elbows, and so that you can even try come into a tripod headstand. Don't try this at home. So just be very careful. I was just being playful here because it felt nice. It felt nice doing it. So you can challenge yourself. Others come back into the wide-legged forward fold, lift up halfway, just stay here for a bit, inhaling, halfway lift, and then so that you can bring your hands to your hips, rising back up very slowly. Take your hands out wide once again, stay here for a minute. Now turn your right leg forward, bend into the front knee into warrior 2, and so that you can take extended side angles. You can either bring your palm right down on the next to the right foot, and then lift the left hand up. Otherwise, you can relax your right elbow on your right thigh. It's perfectly fine. If you're keeping the other hand, you can even keep the right hand outside the right foot and then stretch the left hand above your ear. Then keep twisting your chest up towards the ceiling or the sky as you find that nice line all the way from the top of the feet right to the fingertips, feeling that nice side stretch on the entire left side of the body. This is how you draw lines with your body. Yoga becomes a poetry of movement. Rise back up into a T. Let's do the other side. So extend the side angle on the left side. So left elbow, left knee. And then see that you can press the hand down and take your right hand up. Otherwise, you can take it outside the left leg and then stretch your right hand above your ear. Gaze towards your fingertips as you find that nice side stretch on the entire right side of the body. Breathing in and breathing out. Keeping that nice 90-degree angle alignment. This is actually a very good stretch for your legs and also very good hip opener going on there, as much as it's working the quads, hamstrings, and even the hip joints. And then you're rotating your torso up. Come back up very slowly into Warrior 2. Twisted side angle. This is going to be a bit hard, so bend your right knee once again, and then so that you can take the left hand outside and then stretch the right hand up. So you want to stay here, otherwise you can stay with the prayer twist. Otherwise, keep gazing towards your right fingertips. Back foot can be on toes. You'll feel this pressure on your belly. So this is actually a very good posture just to massage the abdominals because of that pressure between the thigh and the belly area. So keep stretching that hand even more, feeling that nice deep stretch. And once you're done with your 5 breaths, slowly find a way out of that particular posture and you switch sides. So you rise back up. Now take Warrior 2 slightly, back foot is on toes, and then now take your right elbow against your left knee and then stretch your hands above your ear. Back foot is powering through the back, so you want to lift the leg off the ground, the heel rather off the ground. Otherwise you can keep prayer hands, or you can even open your hands out like a T and then keep reaching, feeling that nice pressure on the belly area. Again, massaging the abdominals here in twisted side angle pose. Make sure the back foot is powering through the back, so you want to keep the knee straight the entire time. And then slowly unwind, rising up again into a T. And then so that you can bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale, bow forward. You can just bow forward by taking your legs a little bit wider. And then so that you can release your hands on the ground once again. With your 2-piece fingers grabbing your big toes. And then exhale so that you can bend your elbows. This Prasarita Padottanasana as well, bringing the crown of the head down on the ground. And this is the thumbnail for those of you who saw the thumbnail be watching this video. It's a very nice inversion as you try to bend your elbows here. Now press your hands rising upward. Otherwise, so that you can bring your forearms down on the ground. Still pressing the thighs against the wall, feeling that nice deep hamstring stretch on both legs. The toes are parallel to each other as you press them down on the ground. And just stay here for a moment, soaking in the breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Press your hands back up, coming into halfway lift. You can toe heel your feet slightly, and then so that you can either stay here for a moment, just be able to give yourself time to rise up. Bring your hands to your hips, and then rise back up into standing. Now you can take your hands out wide, stay here for a moment, just feeling that nice stretch, and then come back into Samasthiti. So you can bend into the right foot and then come to the top of your mat in Samasthiti. Let's try some bit of forward fold as well. So slide your palms under your feet, coming into Gorilla pose, Gorilla Asana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your elbows outwards, trying to melt your torso in that space that you just created. You can even challenge yourself and see that you can lift either of the heels off the ground, just to be able to feel that deep stretch here. It's a very tricky balancing posture, so be careful so that you don't topple over and fall on your back. Breathing in and breathing out. So we've been doing like deep forward folds for the duration of the challenge. Gently release, coming into halfway lift. Bring your hands to your hips, and then slowly, so that you can rise up. And then come back into Samasthiti, even standing pose. Now let's see that you can do some balancing posture, bound half lotus. So see that you can bend your right foot and then bring it to your left hip crease like that. So you want to bring your heel, this may be a bit hard, and see that you can grab it with your right hand across your back. And then you can either choose to stay here standing, otherwise see whether you can bring your left hand to your hip and see that you can find a fold while still grabbing the right foot across your back. Feeling that nice stretch, try to see that the knee can point down towards the ground. This is actually called the Ashtanga triples, the more complex variation of triples. Then try to anchor your focus down on a point that is not moving under the ground, on the ground. And then when you're ready, gently rise up very slowly. And then you can bend your standing foot slightly and then gently so that you can release the right leg towards the ground and come back into even standing or samasthiti. Good. Now from here, let's try the other side. So from here, you see that you can bring your left foot on your right hip crease. So on the second side, so bound half lotus on this other side, and then so that you can take your left hand across your back and grab that right foot from the back. And then you can either bring your right hand on your hips, trying to keep your chest straight, otherwise so that you can bring your right hand down on the ground as you come into a forward fold. Tap the floor a bit and just stay here. You'll feel a very juicy stretch on the hamstrings and the hips here because of this fold. And then just stay here. These are very advanced balancing posture. Trying to keep that bind across your back, just be able to support the shoulder as well, because the shoulder is also getting a bit of opening. Release the posture by coming into standing. And then take your feet hip width distance apart. Now see that you can interlace your hands above the sky, turning your palms to face outwards, and then sink your hips lower, coming into chair with your hands. And then you want to keep tucking your tailbone in just to lengthen your spine. You don't want to stick your bum out. And then keep sinking lower, reaching those interlaced hands in front of you. And then keep gazing down towards your big toes. Make sure you can see your big toes while staying in this half chair, inhaling and exhaling. And you can even attempt to take the hands even slightly higher as you sink the hips a little bit lower. Now reach the hands towards the sky, rising up very slowly. And then see that you can come back into samasthiti or even standing. You can shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Now bring your hands to your hips, engage your core here. Now see that you can lift your right leg up. And then see that you can point your toes towards the front. So this is going to be a test of balance. It's also going to be a very beautiful quad stretch. So you can either choose to grab your knee by holding it, and you can even make circles with your ankles. Just be able to prepare the leg for this particular stretch. Others, when you're ready, stretch your legs forward, pointing your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Let's try the other side. So you bring your left knee towards your chest, make circles with your ankles, and then when you're ready, see that you can stretch that left leg forward, pointing your toes towards the front while keeping your hands on your hips. Try to keep the foot on the same line as your hips and just challenge yourself and feel what that feels like, especially on the left quad. Keeping the spine straight and the torso lifted, inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, bend the knee and gently release. Shake it out, shake it out. You can massage the quads here for a bit. And then from here, let's transition to the next posture. So from samasthiti, inhale, sweep your hands up overhead, reaching tall. Soften your knees and bow forward. Folding forward. Come into halfway lift. Press your hands down and just find your way down on your belly. And then press your hips down, so that you can bend your knees, grab your ankles, and then so that you can kick into your hands and lift your chest up into bow pose. And then keep lifting your chest up as you balance on the hip. Try to keep the chest as high as possible, and then try to shift your gaze up as you feel this nice opening on the shoulders. This is also a back bend. As you keep kicking against the hands. The higher you kick, the better the stretch and the deeper the back bend. And then exhale, release, bringing your chest down. You can either bend your knees and swing them from side to side, otherwise swing your hips from side to side to massage your spine. And then press your hands up and find your way into sitting on your mat. Soles of your feet are pressing down on the ground. And just relax here for a moment, inhaling and exhaling. And then find seated star pose. So bring the soles of your feet to touch as if you're doing butterfly pose. And then grab the tops of your feet. It's like your legs are creating a star shape there. Sit tall, inhale, lift your chest up, lifting the heart, and so that you can bend your elbows and fold forward. Trying to soften towards the feet, bringing your face towards the feet. Feeling that nice hip opening going on there on your hips. Inhaling and exhaling. Try to let gravity pull you towards the ground in this seated star pose. Rise back up, keeping the chest up. Then draw your knees in towards your chest and then plant your feet on the mat. And then from here you're going to sweep your legs towards the side, come onto sitting on your heels. And then I want you to create space between your heels and then plop your bum on that space that you've just created between your feet. And then so that you can start walking your hands, leaning back. And if you can bring your forearms down on the ground, why not? And then see that maybe you can even bring the head down towards the ground. Reclined hero's pose. You remember this episode from the episode we did facing the mountain. And then you can even stretch your hands and bring them behind your head and just relax here. These are very intense quad stretch. Stay with that sensation. Otherwise, you can bring your hands alongside your body. And you stay here, inhaling and exhaling, soaking in that bit of a stretch. And then challenge yourself and so that you can bring the knees towards each other. And then keep tucking your chin in so that you can melt your back a little bit more towards the earth. Otherwise, you can always slide a bolster or a cushion to support your lower back. Slowly make your way back into sitting on your heels. Oof, it's intense. And then maybe from here, slide your heels towards each other and then bow forward, coming into rabbit pose, just to curve the spine a little bit. Slide onto one side, come into a seated position, planting your feet, pointing your knees towards the sky, and then slowly lower your back down to the mat, coming to line on your back, then stretch your legs out, and then with the strength of your elbows, so that we can lift the chest up and then try and take fish pose. So you're going to lift the chest up and then bring the crown of the head down towards the ground. Melting the chest down, you can even slide your palms under your bum just to be able to get that deep stretch. As you open the chest, feeling the stretch on the throat, inhaling and exhaling. As you feel the throat chakra open. And then you can just stay here for a moment, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Then tuck your chin slightly in, press the soles of your feet down towards the ground. Stay here for a moment, just relax the lower back a bit. Now draw both knees towards your chest, squeezing them tightly. And so that you can broaden the knees wider than your rib cage, and then grab the sides of the feet and take happy baby pose. And you can even swing yourself from side to side just to massage your spine here for a bit. Inhaling and exhaling, trying to keep your tailbone down on the ground. Inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly ease out of happy baby pose, which has been one of the most discussed postures in this challenge. Stretch your legs forward, come into Shavasana, deep rest, or the do nothing posture. And just stay here for as long as you like. Hands to your heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much. I will see you on day number 90.